Okay, so welcome everybody. It seems odd greeting people in this way to our new school year. Normally we'd be on campus, surrounded by the beautiful school at Elmwood and have you all with us in person. But obviously due to the circumstances, this is where we are right now. But as of next week, all your daughters will be on campus. And I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about what we've been doing. So obviously the school closed in person when the pandemic struck last year. And since then, we had been operating online. So all our classes, all our learning, all our co-curriculars and assemblies had all gone online. And we think we did an amazing job. The girls had a great experience. But obviously through that time, a lot of the magic that comes from school and what schools offer is that in-person social experience. The ability for girls to not only communicate, but to have those moments where they can see each other, where they can sense each other in a room, and also just have the ability to be away from homes and away from you as parents and express themselves as individuals as they grow up. So throughout the summer, we've been incredibly excited to know that we will be able to reopen again. And we've been working incredibly hard every day to make sure that the experience is safe, that it exceeds all of the mandates set out to us by public health and the Ministry of Education. But really underpinning everything was something we believe deeply in, which is making school a place that is going to be fun for the girls. We didn't want to create an experience which was something that is, say, scary or completely different. We wanted your daughters to come to school happy, excited, and ready to have fun with learning. The school is going to be safe. We've invested in a lot of things to make sure that we have everything ready for the girls. But really, one of our big primary concerns is to make sure your daughters come to school comfortable, relaxed, ready to learn, and ready to have fun. And we're so excited that we're going to be able to start doing that as of next week. Now today, this session is obviously online and virtual, but we're hoping it's going to give you a chance to ask questions, to have some reassurances, to be able to get some more details. You've obviously seen the plan. If you've read the full 72-page plan, you'll be very well informed, but some of you may not have had the time to do that. So today is a chance for us to come together as your first experience of our community, ask questions, and get to meet some very, very important people. Now, those people will introduce themselves as they come on the screen. But for me as head of school, I just wanted to say a huge heartfelt welcome. And also to thank you. Thank you for trusting in Elmwood. We are an incredible school and we have an amazing community. But your daughter is the most precious thing for you. Just like my daughter is for me, and she's coming back on Monday to the school. So to have the trust you've placed in us is huge. So I thank you for that. This is now my second year as head of school. I've been in the school for, this will be my 10th year now at Elmwood. And I took over as head of school at the beginning of last year. So I'm in my second year and I couldn't be more excited to take on the challenge and lead our school through what is going to be an absolutely amazing year. Now, I'm going to hand over to one of the first people we're going to talk to. But before I do that, actually, I did want to talk a little bit about something that although we do have all these changes in place, there's something very important at Elmwood School that will not change, and that's our school values. And it's important that you know what those values are. The image you're seeing there, the first one is respect. As a school, this is incredibly important to us. Is that the girls respect each other, that the faculty respect each other, and that we have respect for all things that happen in the school. This is a key part of our school and our community, as is innovation. And more than ever, innovation this year is going to be tested in education and in schools. We have amazing educators who are always pushing the boundaries of innovation and what's available and what we can do in classrooms. So this year, innovation is going to be a very important value for us. Collaboration, although collaboration will look different this year, obviously with social distancing and some of the guidelines in place, that will not stop us from collaboration. We have lots of digital tools that can help us to do that. Our faculty are in right now training and having professional development to get them ready. But the idea that students talk, communicate, collaborate to improve their learning and their education is very important to us. Integrity is a very important value to the school. Everything we do with integrity. We believe in every decision we make, every piece of guidance we take is done with the value of integrity informing that. Finally, responsibility. I talked to the faculty yesterday about their responsibility to make sure that they're well and they're safe. Francie Marchand, who's going to talk to you in a minute, will be talking a lot about the health and safety measures. But we all have a responsibility to our community to make sure that we're doing everything possible to keep us all safe. This year is about safety and fun, and responsibility is going to be key to that. So without further ado, I am going to now pass over to Francie Marchand. Now, Francie, before I introduce her, has been working all summer. She is our Director of Health, Safety and Wellness, and she has led our Joint Health and Safety Committee throughout the summer, devising a plan, putting it together. Francie is also a nurse, a trained nurse, so she has the eyes and ears of all of the public health community. So our plan is exceptionally detailed, but it is designed with the girls' safety at heart. Francie's been amazing. She's been at the school for an awfully long time. So she knows our community very, very well. And it is my absolute pleasure to introduce her to you today. Francie, over to you.
Good morning. Thank you, James. And James was trying to do the math quickly in his head for the awfully long timeline, how long I was here, myself included. As he was speaking, I was trying to quickly do the math. I believe this is the 23rd year I've been at Elmwood School in various capacities. I am a registered nurse and spearheading our campus reopening and this plan for COVID-19 health and safety. So this has been an exciting summer for me. This is obviously my wheelhouse, and public health is my expertise and my background. And I am looking forward to our reopening and seeing our faces. And I can say with 150% accuracy that I am really confident in our safe reopening plan and excited to greet our community back in the building. We have our staff back this week and doing the walkarounds in our junior school and our main building and our outside just recess areas. I'm really excited to know that we have major things in place to ensure that the girls are going to be able to come back, feel safe, but also have fun and engage and be really a pivotal part of the experience coming back as well, and part of being part of their classroom and figuring out what does redecorating look like, what does interacting look like now in this new era. I was in a classroom yesterday down in the junior school, and it was so interesting because yes, we have barriers in place and strategies in place to respect our environmental distancing and our cleaning protocols, and we have stickers on the floor so we can, have trigger reminders about distancing and so on, but we still have fun. And the little desks we have in place now actually have platforms so that they're of the proper height so the girls can sit in underneath comfortably, but they're light so the teachers can move them to change the workspaces, but the girls can still be interacting and modifying their daily fun routines as well, all while maintaining some distancing, some different modifications that are all appropriate for what we need to do in its COVID time. So we're doing a lot of learning with our teachers. Today, again, at 11 o'clock, they have a huge mandatory session for general COVID awareness training. All the teachers, before the students come back next week, will be attending my in-service health and safety sessions. It includes basic training like hand washing, donning and doffing masks, barrier methods, the layering, the importance of layering strategies with respect to COVID. We know that the most important is the screening and the protocols and the daily assessment, right? Because if we can avoid coming to school unwell, that's the most important. So I will help you with that. And I'm available for all parents at all times on email, on the phone. I will be visible as well on your drop-offs if you have questions about what does the daily assessment look like. My child is experiencing this symptom. What do I do next? And I'm there for you. You can bounce off ideas from me. I can give you feedback, and I can help you navigate this, because I know over the past 6 months, we've been inundated with information. So one of your responsibilities as a parent, and we are going to work as a team, is that daily pre-screening tool that we're going to ask that you do at home prior to coming into the campus in the morning. We're going to, depending on the age of your child, help you engage your child in going through the questions as well. We have an Elmwood pre-screening protocol visual that we're going to be sending to you via email as well. That's a really nice visual graphic to really help empower your young learner to go through the questions as well. So that it'd be very routine coming in the morning. If your daughter's already been part of an activity this summer, going to camp or re-engaging in soccer or swimming, you're probably very used to doing this pre-assessment tool, screening tool. Your teachers will do a quick kind of health check-in in the morning as well, just saying, hey, how is everyone feeling? And I'm available during the day as well for both of our whole school to ensure that everyone is staying healthy. During the school day, we have modified our school day routine, but very seamlessly, that the girls should not really notice huge difference. We're not going to be going through our school day saying, oh, it's, you know, COVID-19 time and we're going to be doing this. It's very seamlessly, it's very blended. Our classes are small and our spaces are spacious. Each one of our classes has a wonderful air purifier cleaning system that has a beautiful carbon filter that filters most viruses, bacteria, and impurities out of our air system within 15 minutes. So this is a wonderful opportunity for our school, from our smallest grades to our oldest grades, that air circulating system, besides the things that we've put into place with our open windows, our fresh airs, our open door policies, that air in itself is going to be filtered and cleansed as well, nonstop during the day. We also have a touch point cleaning system where we've enhanced our cleaning routines in our buildings, that we will be cleaning more often throughout the day. And we have a wonderful, which we actually had going last year, a spray modification system where we can spray all contact points of our chairs, our washrooms, our doorknobs, and our handles, and our stairwells very easily. That is going to be increased in frequency as well. So you can reassure yourself that our touch point cleaning and our high frequency touch points are going to be done more often during the day. Our teachers are also well informed about their cleaning routines, and we have hand sanitizer in every classroom as well as disinfectant wipes. So our smallest children, obviously the teachers will be responsible for this, and in our older grades and even our junior school, those disinfectant wipes are all safe, DIN numbered and WHMIS labeled, and are all safe for touch and use. None of the chemicals are corrosive and they're environmentally friendly. I think I'll leave the at-home learning to someone else. Our outside recess time is going to be safe, supervised, and again, lots of fun. And again, our toys, anything that's shared is cleansed in between, so that we don't share resources, and that again our teachers are well informed and well aware of that, and we have teachers working on our co-curricular plans and our interactive learning, so that is done in a way where we are having fun, it's optimal, but we are minimizing interactions and contact with different levels of children, and definitely we're not mixing both buildings. We have barriers where it's required, but not to interfere with teaching and learning and social emotional development of children. So those barriers will be in key areas where we decide that they're required, but they're also not permanent structures in our building, which I really love, so that they can be moved around and they're flexible, so that the children won't feel like they're walking into like permanently barriered areas. So when we don't need them, we can remove them. Where we need them, we can put them up. So you're not going to find that your children are like behind these glass barriers all day long. Absolutely not. In our classrooms and hallways, our children will be distanced. There'll be some directional flow. And again, just routines that children are normally used to in school. So nothing hugely imposed that they're going to feel it's very, very different for them. Some arrows, some signage, some things that are going to help facilitate that. They're actually fun. Mrs. Blackadar and I were actually going around yesterday sticking down the stickers and the signage. And again, the children, we're going to involve the children if they think that the signage, they could help maybe put some stickers down. Again, engaging our students in helping us keep our environment safe is going to be key. Ms. Erin Jackson, nod at me when I've talked too much because I like to talk, and I'm really passionate about some of the things that we've done over the summer to keep our school safe and ready to go back. Just taking a look at my list here, and if there's questions from the parents, mostly for the public health driven protocols, please, I want you to rest assured, I'm actually a public health nurse as well. So everything that has been implemented for the school has been public health driven, World Health Organization as well, and from the Ministry of Education and the Ministry of Ontario. So those documents, as well as occupational health and safety standards. So as a school, we have a joint health and safety committee, which is really highly structured and very visible in our school and always has been. I'm the risk management officer at our school, and we are going to try to maximize outdoor time, whether it's an academic instructional outdoor time for fresh air, and also physical fitness and activity time for our students. So we've tried to take all pillars, all aspects, from safe staff, for safe students, for our safe community, and we're trying to go back to as normal functioning as possible, including trying to consider all the barriers that need to be put into place for infection control and management, but behind the scenes for your children, without having upfront and the main focus, because I think they've lived that. The last point I'd like to make is their mental health and wellness. That's a big focus because we are aware that COVID-19 has caused different stressors and different mental health focus and issues for different families and different children. We will be having some mental health support for staff, some programs for children, mental well-being, stress management, just on a generic basis. And we have support programs available, myself included. I'm a psychosocial counselor. So if girls are worried, nervous, have had difficulties dealing with any of the COVID-19 situations over the past few months, those are support services that I'm available to offer for our student community as well. And Mrs. Blackadar can definitely facilitate implementing that, and myself getting in touch with you as a family if that is something that you're interested in. So I'll take questions or pass on to the next panelist. Thank you very much.
What we'll do is we'll have questions at the end. So I think they're asking questions in the chat, and then we can do that then. Thank you so much, Francie, for that, as you say, incredibly passionate overview of our safety procedures. They are, I will say, just fantastic. And I love that the principle of students coming back into a school that they recognize has been underpinning everything. I would now like to introduce Miss Christine Blackadar to speak to you. Christine is the deputy head of the junior school, and like all of the leadership team has been working throughout the summer to make sure that the curriculum, the building, the timetable, the staffing, and everything is ready for your girls. Christine has also been in the school for a long time. I'm not going to guess, but I know that Christine was also a student at Elmwood. So Christine knows the school better than anyone. And what I love most about Christine is her love of the kids. All of the decisions she makes is with the girls' best interests at heart. And that is such a valuable part of who she is and what she gives the school. So without further ado, I'm going to hand over to Christine.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you, James. Thank you very much. My name is Christine Blackadar, and I'm deputy head of the junior school. I have been in this position, I'm heading into my 9th year in the role. My own background is information technology, which is sort of a combination of library and computers, which it remains a bit of a passion for me as well. In terms of my personal life, I have 3 kids of my own. And in fact, right now they're all teenagers. So I have 3 teenagers in the house, and that's been an adjustment for me as well. Our first slide here is actually one of the lovely moments from our school year. And these are grade 5 students who are at their exhibition. As you know, we are a world IB school. So we have the International Baccalaureate program from pre-kindergarten, so our 3-year-olds, all the way up to our grade 12 girls. PYP exhibition is the culmination of the IB PYP work in junior school, and it's a very exciting moment in the school year. Basically, what you see is the girls undertake a huge project that is done in school, and we have an invitation to the parents who come in to see what their daughter has done. And sometimes it's very mysterious for the parents because it has, for the most part, been done in school. So what I love about it is to see the learning that has taken place with those grade 5 girls, to see all of their time in the PYP school culminating in this incredible project. And it's amazing, the thinking, the planning, the organization, what they are capable of doing. And there's often some really great moments too, because those girls, there is so much learning that has taken place that they can actually explain each other's projects thoroughly as well. We made an excellent transition back in March to online learning. And one of the questions I had to myself was, why did it go so well? Our teachers and our students, it was for the most part seamless, and the girls and the staff were quite remarkable. So I've done some thinking about why we were able to flip into online learning in a way that was so efficient and managed to maintain the sense of community that the school has that is so powerful. And I will have to give credit to the IB. So PYP in the school very much teaches the girls how to think, teaches the girls how to reflect upon their learning. So it was one of my jobs is to read report cards, and the girls actually contribute to their own report cards where they write a comment about their IB learner profile and how they've progressed as learners. And it was really quite remarkable to see these girls, and when you read them, you can tell that it's the student who has written that comment, and they reflected on their learning in terms of the online world. Did they do well with managing things online? What did not go well? And what are they going to do for the following year to improve upon that? And it is a remarkable program that your daughters have access to. It is well established in the school, and the International Baccalaureate is a program that's more than 40 years old in the world. It is best practices gathered from around the world, and they feed it all to their schools that participate in the program. And I would have to say, we've almost had a test case in terms of how fantastic this program is, because they really have prepared our learners well for this incredibly unusual situation that we're all coping with. The other piece I would credit in the school for why we adapted so rapidly is we were really fortunate to have training in design thinking over the past couple of years, and it's very much focused on problem solving. And so the teachers had experienced this remarkable training, and we're incredibly excited about it. And it was the kind of training where it was hard work, and it was very intense. And it's not the kind of training, and I'm sure many of you have experienced this, where you kind of have the workshop and then you walk out and not much resonated with you. It very much resonated with the staff, and some of them that were in the training immediately started to put it in place in their class. So we have a very powerful combination in the school of the IB program backed with design thinking that allows the kids to really problem solve. And I'm very much looking forward to the girls coming back in person. I've really missed seeing them in person. I feel like I saw them online, so that was helpful as well. But I happen to know that those girls will immediately come in and start looking at safety and changes that they'd like to make, or things that they think could work even better. And it's all part of that incredible intellectual but also character training that they have in the school. And I think I already mentioned, but our PYP program and the IB program as a whole is very robust in the school. We've been at it for a number of years, so it's a very strong program. And you'll find out more detail about the IB program as we go along in the school year. Okay, so this is another really important piece in the school. We have quite a remarkable director of learning called Katie Fraser, and she is in charge of looking after students from pre-kindergarten to grade 12 and giving advice to teachers in terms of how to best serve our very different students. So sometimes it's going to be learning support. Sometimes we also have some students that are incredibly strong in certain areas. So it's a combination of support and stretching. She is an absolutely remarkable woman, and she does fantastic work with myself and with the staff as well to ensure that we're meeting the needs of students. And she also works a lot, as do I, with parents. So if you have a piece with your daughter that you would like to talk about, certainly the first contact is typically through the homeroom teacher, and then it often will come to me and Katie Fraser after that. We also have our librarian also does some work with students one-on-one, and sometimes to support their learning as well. So I find, especially in the early years, sometimes we will pick up on something that is just needs a boost, and we're able to boost it using the talents of, first of all, the homeroom teacher, but also we're able to pull in some extra support as well. And sometimes there's pieces with the older girls, sometimes it's their organization. So as they're heading towards middle school, they need some help with that area. It often, first sign is often their lockers, that we'll see that they're kind of struggling with locker organization and keeping track of materials. And that's another area that we can support really successfully. Parents often appreciate having some assistance in those types of areas as well. So it's another major piece in the school that we are really good at. And I would say that if you have a concern with your daughter, and the concerns vary tremendously because all of your daughters are individuals, reach out, I would say, first to the homeroom teacher, but I am also very happy to have conversations with you, and I can easily set you up with Ms. Fraser as well. So we're moving on to sort of another piece in the school that is very robust. I do want you to sort of understand that we are doing a lot of work in this area as well, because it's a key area. At Elmwood, we focus on the whole girl, and athletics is a very big piece of their development. Typically, a lot of the sports ramp up in grade 4 and grade 5 so that the girls will have chances to participate with, typically it'll be grade 5 with grade 6 students, so they'll have the opportunity to try out and practice on various sports teams like basketball and soccer and badminton. And we have Ms. Derbyshire and Ms. McDougall, who are two teachers in the school, are working to see what's going to start up in terms of sports. We also organize things like soccer friendlies for some of the younger girls. We get out to running events. And the only piece that we've got right now is all of that is in place. We're just watching to see what we're allowed to do, because athletics is a major focus in the school. And also I know fitness and is connected to so many things, not just overall physical fitness, but of course mental well-being as well. It is something that, given the current changes, we will be supplementing to make sure that the girls are getting these experiences, and also working on their physical fitness and developing their sports skills as a priority. It's just going to look a little different. One of the pieces that we are going to do, because we want to keep things, certain key pieces in the school year present, is one of our first events is going to be the Terry Fox Run. It's going to look a little different from how it does in the past, but the emphasis is still going to be on running. And one of the things I love to do with the girls is get some of the fast runners out so they're able to kind of gallop ahead. And what I love too is that we've done that for the Terry Fox Run the past couple of years, and it allows all the girls to participate, and most of them pick up their pace as well. I'm always very interested in having our students enter at their own level. So for some girls, that's running fast, and for other girls it's going to be walking at a good pace as well, and which is just fine. To me, it's all about being active and building up your fitness. Running is a particular passion for me because I think it is so good for people, and so good especially for our students, and I do want them to develop a love of fitness and love of movement early on in their childhood. So that's definitely a key piece that we work on at the school. All right, so this is one of my favorite slides, actually. So what you're seeing here is there's the bottom photograph with all the students in the library is from last year. And one of the my great privileges is to work with grade 5 student council. All grade 5s have the opportunity to participate. They do have to apply to participate and explain why they want to be in-house council and what they can contribute. And they have the opportunity to work with, that's Charlie, our junior school prefect, who was remarkable last year. They work with that junior school prefect, and they do a lot of organizing in the school, a lot of planning, a lot of working with younger kids. And that's certainly something we are going to continue this year. I'm really excited about it. Probably some of it will be socially distanced and some of it will probably be virtual as well, but the girls are going to be incredibly excited about participating in that council. What I really love in the school is that we are a girls' school. So we see leadership from girls everywhere. And it's a piece that's very well developed in the school. And what I love is the role modeling that takes place. So some of our kindergarten girls will look to the girls in grade 1, 2, and 3 in terms of, I want to be like that. I want to do those things that the girls are, the older girls are doing. One of my favorite moments actually during the school year is we have a running club that goes usually spring and fall, and in the spring we actually have the kindergarten girls come out and participate in a very safe, supervised way. And what's so exciting is those kindergarten girls have been watching those older girls run, so they already identify it as something they want to do. And we've had kindergarten girls come out and they will be given the opportunity to run 1 lap, or they can run, sometimes I've had a couple of them actually run 1 kilometer because they're enjoying it so much. But it's that role modeling piece that is so powerful in the school. If you see those grade 5 girls in that photograph, they are modeling themselves on that junior school prefect, but also if you look to the photograph of the older girls with Mr. Whitehouse, those are our prefects in grade 12. So quite often our girls in grade 4 and grade 5 are already picking out what they want to be like when they're older. So some of them will identify with the rowing team, and I really want to row when I get to a certain grade, or they will already be planning what they would like to do as a student leader when they get the opportunity to be prefects. I'm actually going to ask Mr. Whitehouse to jump back in to speak about Lead Like a Girl, because that's another really powerful piece in the school that's in the senior school.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Ms. Blackadar. I would also like to say that leadership at Elmwood, it's even more special because in every classroom, every day, girls are given leadership opportunities. They're challenged to be leaders in everything they do. So these key positions that we talk about with the prefects and the different councils that go on, they're very important. But what we also do is in every classroom, every single day, every minute, the girls are being encouraged to take on leadership in any guise that we can see. And we pride ourselves on it. When our girls go through Elmwood, they develop amazing leadership skills, amazing confidence, and they can take on the world. Lead Like a Girl is a phenomenal conference, which was actually the thought of one of our, was actually our head girl a couple of years ago. In her campaign to become head girl, one of her ideas was to have a conference that was created by girls for girls. So she developed this idea of Lead Like a Girl. So essentially, she created the idea of the conference. She created her logo. She built a team of students around her from grade 10 to 12 who were responsible for things like marketing, advertising, the program itself. She invited speakers in to the school. So we had 2 keynote speakers come in. Just bear this in mind that she was doing this herself. She wasn't, adults were there to help supervise, but actually on the whole, she was the one making contact, organizing speakers. And when it first ran out 2 years ago, we had just under 400 girls in our school from all over the city, from schools all over the city, but also outside of the city too, come in and spend a day with us, developing their leadership through activities, but also listening to incredible female leaders who have made a real difference in the world. And so to give them role models. Last year, our head girl then took on the mantle and started it again. And she had the idea of we're going to do environmental leadership. And it came through to March, and obviously COVID hit. And just before we were going to have the in-person event, Obviously we couldn't. Now it would have been easy for her to have just said at that point, okay, we're going to cancel it, because everything was being canceled, right? But she came to us and said, you know what, I don't think it should be canceled, it's too important. So she created this incredibly robust online virtual Lead Like a Girl conference, which was taken on by students from all over Ontario who came in, joined the activities, and had real leadership activities to go away with. So this conference is something that's now in its second year, and it's very much up to the head girl to put their own stamp on it. So this year, our head girl has already started formalizing ideas and how it's going to run. We don't yet know whether or not we'll be able to do this in person. We obviously want as many girls to come to our school. So right now, that wouldn't be a possibility. So it may be virtual, it may be online. But what it does do for the school is it really encourages real leadership. And this isn't something that is being led by an adult as a puppet. This is actual, genuine leadership by our girls in the school. It's a fantastic opportunity for everybody involved. So I'm going to hand back to Christine now, who will continue.
Thank you, Mr. Whitehouse. And I would completely agree with what he mentioned in terms of leadership in the classroom. The girls have all kinds of opportunities to be leaders in the school. And some of my favorite moments actually are, we do excellent work. If you're in the audience and your daughter is a little bit shyer, we do excellent work with those girls. We are gentle with bringing them along, but we want to make sure that all girls have these opportunities. And some of my favorite moments, the girls like to come down to my office and make an appointment to see me. That's one of their pieces they absolutely love. They also pop in as well, which I love. I just have to work out how I can still be doing that in the current situation. But sometimes it will be a girl who is new or a little bit quieter, and she will come in with an idea that she's really passionate about. And one of the pieces I love to see is the ownership and the initiative of from the girls. It's something that's very much alive in the school, and it's really exciting. The girls definitely keep us on our toes too, which I really enjoy as an adult as well, because again, we've got such powerful educational systems in the school in terms of design thinking and IB that it all works very well for these girls. This is a slide just showing that we do all kinds of terrific work beyond the classroom. Again, as James mentioned, we want to some of this is on hold at the moment, but it's very well structured within the school. And you can see there's some examples from the middle and senior school in terms of the Elmwood camp that takes place. We've got excursions that go farther afield. There's one in Ecuador. And we also see there's dog sledding that was taking place with the Duke of Edinburgh. In junior school, the field trips are very much related to athletics or to experiences from the curriculum. And that beautiful shot of grade 4 is a field trip to the Wabano Center, which is on Montreal Road, to connect to their unit on Indigenous people and Canada as well. And they go to a workshop there and have an absolutely terrific experience. And then their teacher typically takes them out along the Ottawa River afterwards, and they work on building inuksuks along the river and meet an artist down there. So we have really well designed field trips that are very exciting as well. We will be working on bringing in these experiences virtually. We actually had some teachers do that when we were in the kind of emergency distance learning period, and they were still bringing the girls virtually to museums and bringing experts in as well. So it's part of that very enriched curriculum, making sure that the girls are connected to the outside world, and then we have people coming in to enhance our program as well. It is all very well thought out in terms of the curriculum, but also developing them in terms of the arts and in terms of sports as well. All right, so I'm now moving on to a few practical matters. I know for all of you as new parents, I've been spending time talking overall about our school, but there's also some other very basic questions that I'm sure you're interested in asking, but also just to talk about, I want to talk about arrival and pickup as well, because I know those are often front of mind. So in terms of our early drop off in the school, we have changed it this year slightly. So if you have a daughter in the early years, you will still have access to the play outside from 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock in the morning. This is not required, but we also find that many parents who have several children in the school find it really great to be able to drop off their older daughter and have their younger daughter come to play. Typically, we are outside a lot in the early years. We if it's really inclement weather, they will be indoors. They'll go into their classrooms, but we like them to be outside. For our early years families as well, we want to make sure that you're able to drop them off in person. So you are going to be able to walk them into the playground. Pre-kindergarten, it's going to be in the actual fenced-in yard for early years. So that's going to be your drop-off point. And then for junior kindergarten and senior kindergarten girls, if you walk towards the Hillcrest side of the school, which is kind of, if you think walking towards the back of the property where the building is, there's going to be drop-off points there. And there will be screening practices in place as well at both of those locations. This is where, this is one change for our community as well. Typically, we have a lovely playtime outside from 8 o'clock to 8:20, and that has changed due to COVID. So we felt it was best practice to have the girls actually directly enter the school. We are encouraging highly for our parents just to drop the girls in the parking lot. That there's a very safe setup for that in the school. For the first day, I anticipate most of our junior school parents wanting to kind of walk their child in to the yard, and we will facilitate that as well, because I know it's a very big piece. It's always a big moment in regular times, but it's an even bigger moment right now. And we're always, in terms of my own philosophy, I try to be as mindful as possible of parents and students and how they are feeling. In terms of when we've had the first couple of days of school, the girls will need to be dropped off in the parking lot. There will be teachers on duty in terms of the parking lot. They are going to be entering the building, and myself or Ms. Hanratty, who is also on the leadership team, will be greeting those girls in the front hall to just sort of check on their wellness. Homeroom teachers are then in the classrooms from 8 o'clock on. They will also greet your daughter and settle her in as well. So 8 to 8:20 is going to be straight into the building, settle in, have a health check, and then they're with their homeroom teachers. What I did want to tell you as well, and it's a piece that I absolutely love about our school, we are an academic school. And so one of the pieces is those lessons do begin promptly. And I have 3 children. I know how busy families are. We all have another layer that we're coping with in terms of this COVID situation. We may not start sharp at 8:20, but I would say by 8:25, those girls are going to be settled and into their classroom routines. If you have a habit of coming at 20 to 9, in terms of how the timetable is working, how I've set it up is they have big blocks of academic time with their homeroom teacher in the mornings. I want that not disrupted. So we tend to have specialists in the afternoon. So unfortunately, if you come in at sort of 8:45, they often have missed a good 15 minutes of math or whatever the current lesson is. So just so you know that we have an efficient start to the school day. It's a calm start, but the girls are into learning very quickly. Early years, they have a more lovely morning circle at usually by about 10 after 9, they're into that circle as well. So that's our arrival piece. This is another change as well. Again, regular life is running. You're going to have dentist appointments. You're going to be picking your daughter up early for something special in your family. So in terms of signing out, if you could, as you know, we're functioning right now without having parents in the building, just to safeguard everybody's well-being at the moment. So Mrs. Hay, Sarah Hay, is an absolute treasure in the office. She is a great person to phone if you need information about sort of some logistics or aspects of how the school is running. So you will call or email into the office. And one of us, so I'm going to include Mrs. Hay, myself, or Ms. Hanratty, will actually walk your child out. You can come to the front door if that's more comfortable and you've got a younger daughter, or you can actually be in the parking lot. I know sometimes we're in a little bit of a rush, especially with busy parents and appointments and things like that. So we can actually bring her out to the parking lot as well. And I have been informed that we can actually sign for you to indicate that the child has been picked up. So we don't have to worry as much about signing in and out and coming in to do all of that. We can take care of that for you. And of course, we want to make sure your daughter is safe and that we're looking after pick up and drop off and that side of things. Another change in the school in terms of safety is a staggered dismissal. 3 o'clock, our kindergarten girls get out. Grade 1 and 2 are getting out at 3:15, and then grade 3, 4, and 5 are being released. Oh no, I'm mixed up. Grade 3 is actually being released at 3:15 as well, and then grade 4 and 5 are released at 3:30. This is just to limit congestion in the hallway and also make sure that everything is running efficiently. One of the things, of course, is that some of you have more than one child. I'm also aware of parents that have children in the middle or senior school even. So they're right across 3 schools. So in terms of what happens to your daughter who got out at 3 o'clock and you actually have to wait for one that's coming out at 3:40, we will be providing supervision. So so in those cases of parents who have multiple children in the school, your child will be with the homeroom teacher. It probably will be a combination. For some parents, it's only going to be a matter of a couple of minutes. So in fact, your daughter may be outside with the regular dismissal and we're just handing them over to you at about 3:25. But to go back to what Ms. Marchand was talking about, basically after report cards and junior school closing were finished, we flipped right into preparing for the new school year. So we are very much at a high level of preparation, and we've had the time to think of some of these other pieces as well in terms of, because it is, I believe in design thinking, it's something called a wicked problem. So we're dealing with lots of these pieces, and there has been a tremendous amount of thinking that has gone through. I've also had a lot of conversations with parents over the summer, and our parents are, and you're joining a group of fantastic parents. And I find that parents often have some pieces that they're thinking about too. So I'm very happy for you to email me with a thought that you've had, or with needing to ask me a question. Sometimes the conversation will come up in person. I plan to be outside a lot because I will be covering duties, but it also makes me more accessible to parents. But I'm very also happy. You can send me a quick email and I'm very happy to talk to you on the phone. But please keep those questions and even insights coming, because it just makes our community stronger. And we have parents with all kinds of experience. So I really like hearing from you. And we're now moving on to our final stage. That is just a little drawing from our lunchroom. And one of the pieces that the school is a magical place. I was absolutely thrilled yesterday because we had 3 girls that were scootering around the yard, and it was so great to hear that sound and to see them zooming around. We have all kinds of really lovely touches in the school. I would say the excitement level for our students right now is almost like before a major holiday, which is sort of ironic because they're coming back to school. So you wouldn't think it was going to be like that, but they love the school, they love their friends, and they love the community. And we've worked very hard to make things safe, but also to preserve the character of the school and to make sure that there's regular fun things in place as well. And one of those fun pieces are these beautiful drawings that are in the lunchroom. They get changed every week by one of the staff members. So I believe that's it for formal presentations. We're moving on to questions.
Yeah, before we did that, thank you so much, Christine. That was awesome. It's a really great overview. I just wanted to, just before questions come in, just say a little bit about, I've had a lot of questions this summer about what we do when we get information from different authorities. Now, we are an independent school, so we're a not-for-profit school, which means that we don't operate under all of the rules of the Ministry of Education, but in the case of COVID, we have to follow all of our directions from the Ministry of Education and all of public health. Some people have asked me, is because we're an independent school, are we able to operate differently? We're absolutely not. So last year when we closed, that was under the direction of the government, and we will always continue to follow the government advice and the science and the experts. So sometimes that question gets asked. So I just wanted to clarify with people before that point. Anyway, right now over to questions. Jennifer Owen Jackson is going to moderate this for us. So I believe there are some questions that we can answer.
We have some questions in the chat, and we also have some questions in the Q&A. So at the bottom of your screen, you'll see a little Q&A. You can ask a question in there, but you can also ask questions in chat. One of the things that we're going to do with all the answers to these questions is we're going to use them to update our web pages. So those frequently asked questions will keep them fresh with the content that we're developing. Just off the top, Christine, there's been a couple of questions just reconfirming the drop-off times and locations for the various grades. Can you just run through that one more time?
Yes, absolutely. And we will share this information on Schoology as well, because I know it's a lot to take in. So for early years, because those girls are so young, we are allowing parents to walk them to the area where they're being dropped off. So for pre-kindergarten, you're actually approaching the school, you're going to go to the left, and there's a fenced-in yard where you can drop your daughter off. There will be a screening area. So before she actually enters the yard, there's going to be a screening, active screening that takes place as well. And it's between 8 o'clock and 9 o'clock. It is optional. So in fact, we have some parents, if they have one child in the school, who will actually bring their daughter in around 10 to 9. Then we have other parents that want them to play outside, or you have an older child. So that piece, there's no extra charge. It's optional for you to have them come in between 8 and 9 at that yard. You are allowed to walk in. If you prefer to come later, the actual programming starts at 9 o'clock in the school. Junior kindergarten and senior kindergarten, again, early years, you may walk the girls in so what you're going to do is walk towards the fence at the back. That road, I believe, is called Hillcrest. And you're going to just drop them off in that area behind the school. That is where the girls play. Again, it's the same approach between 8 o'clock and 9 o'clock. It is an early morning drop-off that is optional. So for instance, you could happily arrive at 8:30 and have your daughter play outside until the girls go in at 9 o'clock as well. It's completely up to you and your own circumstances. The girls do, again, for junior kindergarten and senior kindergarten, enter the building. They will be using separate entrances at 9 o'clock, and then they actually go into their programming within the classroom as well. In terms of grades 1 to 5, so I know you're all new parents, but there has been a change. We felt that I love them to be outside. I don't like to kind of take away a recess, but we felt it was far safer at the moment. So you will be, the first day of school, you can certainly walk them. We'll be gathered most likely outside. So you can walk them to that place. They'll be in a zone out in the yard. So you can walk them there, say goodbye, provide some reassurance for yourself and for your daughter if it's needed. I'm sure we'll have some girls that don't need it at all, and that is fine too, because they'll have been in for an orientation day. And so that's the first day. From then on, what we'll be doing is the girls, we highly encourage you to just drop them off. They will walk down the path to the junior school, past the teacher who's on duty outside, and we will greet them inside. So again, Ms. Hanratty and I will be there to welcome them, to do a little bit of a health check, and then they will proceed upstairs to their homeroom teacher, who will be waiting in the classroom to greet them again. I've anticipated that we might have a fair number of girls who arrive possibly at 8 o'clock, possibly at 8:20. So we're going to have social distancing in place if we do need to have a lineup as well. So they'll be lining up with markers up the path if that's necessary. So we've got that piece in place as well.
Great. Can you also talk about aftercare, the details of that?
Yes. So in terms of aftercare, for those of you that have a daughter in pre-kindergarten, because we are a licensed facility, we need to, again, we need to follow ministry guidelines. The pre-kindergarten day aftercare is separate from everybody else. It will be within the classroom of the pre-kindergarten. They will swing into that right at 3 o'clock. There's no transition. they just remain in the classroom with their supervisor for that. For the after school care for junior kindergarten through grade 5, again, we have staggered times. It is going to be in the lunchroom. For social distancing, we have 15 full-time places. So what's going to happen is if your daughter's in SK, she will be dropped off at 3 o'clock to the lunchroom. She will go into care. We will do that for all of our students. So from junior kindergarten to grade 5, they will immediately go into the after school program. We will start off in the lunchroom. They will continue to have a snack. They will continue to have some of their regular activities. I think one of our really big changes, though, is that they're going to have an assigned place. They will also continue to have outdoor playtime as well, because that's really, really important. One of the changes we have had to make just to keep everybody safe is that there will not be a drop-in. So before, we sometimes had busy parents who would call and say, I need my daughter just to stay in the after-school program. We are unable to run that piece at this time. There's a number of pieces that we hope to reassess as time goes on, but right now we're starting off in a very safe manner, and we'll kind of see where things take us.
Terrific. We've also had a couple of questions about uniform and signing up for aftercare and signing up for meal plan. And I will just say that if you go onto our website, across the top, you'll see a community button. And if you click on that, you'll get the Elmwood parent portal page. And on that page, you'll find all that information. So if you go there's a campus reopening logistics page for each group of students. And on that page, we have the link to the uniform requirements. We have a link to sign up for the meal plan. We have 2 meal plan options this year, and we have a link to sign up for aftercare. So all of that information is there. We will be having another session on September 3rd. So on Thursday from 2:30 to 3:30, we have a session specific to at-home learning for junior school, in which we are including our Director of Technology to speak about those pieces. So we'll have kind of the full details of that. Christine, I wonder if you just want to talk very broadly about at-home learning for junior school this year.
Yes, so what's really great is we've had experience with that, of course, in the spring. I've shared with all the teachers, our students who are participating in distance learning as well. We will be providing synchronous learning. So the girls are going to be attending things like language arts and math in person. We also are going to be recording lessons as well to make sure that they're accessible to students who happen to be still overseas. We have a whole range of situations, which also means that we want to personalize things as much as possible for you. So you will be contacted to talk about your particular situation if you are doing distance learning, so that we can understand your circumstances, your daughter's needs. There's going to be a variation because, of course, we've got some girls who are in junior kindergarten who are distance learning, and we also have girls in grade 5, and that looks very, very different as well. So we will be contacting you. It will mostly be the homeroom teacher who reaches out as well, but I will also be collecting some of that information to see what you need, what your approach is, gathering some of this information. We need to learn from you in terms of what your daughter is like for online learning, what her previous experiences have been, so that we can help her grow and help her develop her skills. We did a really good job in the spring with online learning, and the teachers learned a tremendous amount. And we have some really great strategies as well that have been developed that will be conducive to assisting your daughter who is at home. I'm also really excited because Google Meets has made some great changes. So for instance, it's going to be really important that your daughter who is at home is able to participate in group work with the other girls. Google Meets has now made that much easier to do. We were actually able to do it in the spring, and we played around with it a lot, but the technology, of course, has come up to speed to make things even better for teachers and for students. So I'm very excited about that. Also, our teachers work in a way that is highly collaborative. So we have really, as we've learned things, it has been shared throughout the school so that we're able to, one of the pieces that was really successful for us was something called the workroom, which is where the teacher was present, the girls were present, they were working online together. The teacher was there for help and to also structure, making sure that the girls stayed on task. But what I loved about it was that you had this very happy background murmur of the girls learning and talking quietly to each other sometimes. And sometimes they had the laptop open as the connection, but they were actually working on paper and pencil. Sometimes it was in their math workbook, and they weren't necessarily staring at the screen. So we have some very good techniques, and there will be a session later on this week specifically focusing on distance learning.
Great. So I'm going to move on to the last slide, which is an outline of the remaining events that we have. I will say all the questions that either haven't been answered or are still in the chat. One of the things that we're going to add to the logistics page, which I think is probably going to take care of some of these, we'll put a map on, we'll do like a Google view, and we'll show where students are going to be and what times they're going to be kind of picked up and dropped off at. And I think that'll give you a bit of a visual for that. The last thing is, just go to the next slide. So these are the remaining activities that we have. So if you are a pre-kindergarten family, we have an information session on Wednesday from 1 to 2. You can sign up for all of these. These are all going to be either Google Meets or webinars, and you can sign up for them on those campus reopening logistics pages that I talked about. We have an information session for JK and SK on September 2nd as well. We have a general Q&A for all junior school families. So this is going to include returning families and new families. So if there's any questions that you still have on Thursday that haven't been answered either on those updated pages or through this webinar or one of the information sessions, feel free to join that and ask those questions. And then we have the at-home learning information session specifically for those families that are going to start the year with at-home learning. That will be important for you to attend. And the last thing is for our new students, we have our on-campus orientation, which is Tuesday, September 8th. This looks a little bit different this year than it has in previous years in that it's only an hour. We're asking the junior school families to come between 8:30 and 9 on September 8th. They will meet their teachers and the other new students in their class on the field. They will go in and kind of have a first run through some of those safety protocols that are in place and just get a bit of a comfort level. So when they come the next day, when all the other students are there, they've met the teacher, they've seen their classroom, they've had a chance to kind of go through those steps. And I think that's it.
Yeah, Jennifer, if I can just jump in for a minute. I know that we've had a lot of questions about dropping off. What's really great, one of the many great things about that Tuesday is you get a chance to practice. So I think once you've seen it in person, it'll straighten things out in your head for you. And I'm very much looking forward to meeting all of you in person. Some of you I've met, but I can't wait to Tuesday to get a chance to meet all of you and to also see your daughters as well. I'm very excited about it.
Great. So thank you, everybody. Thank you to all of our panelists today. And thank you all for joining us online. As Jennifer said, those questions that are unanswered, they will be answered. We have various different measures to get them out to you. But thank you again for coming. And I look forward to meeting you all in person very, very soon. Have a great day, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.